if Tobe gives Ogadinma a very hot slap, Auntie Ngozi will be there to rub Vaseline on her cheek and tell her don't worry, it's because today he's not in a good mood. Tomorrow when he's in a good mood, he's going to hug you. If you want to offend anybody, just be a woman. Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Uche, and if this is your first time on this channel and you're not subscribed yet, please click on the subscribe button down below so you get notified whenever I post a new video. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you for clicking on this video. In this video, I will be reviewing the book Ogadinma by Ukamaka Olisakwe. So guys, this is the book. This is the front cover and this is the back cover. This book is set in the 80s during the military regime here in Nigeria, and it tells the story of Ogadinma. So Ogadinma is a 17-year-old girl who lives with her father, who is a single parent. So she had just finished secondary school. She had written the JAMB examinations and was looking to gain admission into the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. So they had gotten a recommendation from one of their neighbors who directed them to one barrister who goes by the name Barrister Chima. So she was to go there and meet with the man and tell him of her plight and just get enough information on how they are going to proceed. So she goes to this man's office and the man takes her to his home and there he rapes her. So as a result of this rape, Ogadinma became pregnant and she aborted the pregnancy. So this could have gone unnoticed by her father, but she started bleeding, and when he rushed her to the hospital, there they found out that she had had an abortion. So the father was very angry and he was disappointed in her too, because the plan was for her to get into university. So how pregnancy came in, it just was not in the plan. So he sent her to his brother in Lagos. When she got to Lagos, she met with her uncle, Uncle Ugonna, and Uncle Ugonna is a police officer. So his wife, Auntie Ngozi, on her own end tries to match her with her younger brother Tobe. So Tobe is a wealthy businessman who is advanced in age, who was in his 30s, and she was 17. So this matchmaking resulted in a union between the both of them. At this point, when she got married to Tobe, I think it was at that point that her father forgave her, kind of. So the broken relationship between her and her father was repaired. She moves into Tobe's house, so she's living there as his wife. Tobe had issues with the military government then, so he almost like he lost everything that he had, so they had to move into a smaller apartment, and Ogadinma gets pregnant here. But now the relationship she has with Tobe is a very strange one. So yes, she's his wife, but it is not a love-filled marriage, I can say that much. So it's more like she's just the quiet, simple, docile wife who attends to all her husband's needs. And so now that Tobe wasn't as rich as he used to be, he decided to go into business and he made some bad business decisions. So things were not going on well with them, and it looked like it was Ogadinma that was going to get the blame for that. So based on Auntie Ngozi's recommendation, that's Tobe's sister, they go to visit this pastor who they say has powers. He could help them with their situation through prayer and everything. And by this time, Ogadinma is already pregnant, like she's heavily pregnant already. So they go to this Onyekwere's place. The pastor is called Onyekwere. So Onyekwere just manages to say that okay, that it was Ogadinma that was the cause of Tobe's misfortunes, because Ogadinma had a spirit husband and this spirit husband was very jealous and he was trying to wreck everything. The fact that Tobe and Auntie Ngozi believed all this, it was actually very appalling, because at the point when Tobe wanted to make these business decisions, Ogadinma at first she had her own reservations about it, but being the simple docile wife that she is, her opinion doesn't count. So all these things could have been forestalled, but Tobe being a man, so now it's just very easy for them to just heap all the blame on Ogadinma and blame it on her spirit husband. So Ogadinma is made to stay back in this Onyekwere's place for some prayers, and it just happened that this pastor was a fraudster. He was a hoax, he raped Ogadinma while she was even pregnant, and in his sick mind it was an act of cleansing for her. At this point when I was reading the book, it was just it wasn't even making sense again. Like, it was just so crazy. So when Ogadinma returns to her husband after this prayers, she didn't tell anybody, okay, that this was what happened to her. Who would have believed that anyway? It doesn't really seem like things got better for Tobe. It was just normal. It was still just the same, but Tobe and his sister had to believe that, okay, things were going to turn out fine after the prayers and everything. And Tobe started abusing Ogadinma even while she was pregnant. He started hitting her, and at first she did run back to her dad in Jos, but her dad told her to go back to her husband, so she had to endure. And the abuse didn't stop. It continued, and Tobe's older sister, that is Aunty Ngozi, was trying to make excuses for Tobe's behavior. Maybe it's the way you cooked your food, maybe, silly excuses for the mistakes that he was making. The last straw that broke the camel's back was when, while she was heavily pregnant, he beat her to stupor. It was just mad. It was crazy. He almost like he even beat the baby out of her, because she could not even push the baby again. The baby had to be cut out from her. So it was that bad, and it was at this point that she had it. The good thing about it was that she was able to leave, and it was quite funny that she didn't even let the thoughts of a newborn baby deter her from leaving her husband. From the get-go, that marriage, it seemed like there were 3 people in the marriage: her, Tobe, and Aunty Ngozi. So Aunty Ngozi was always like the mediator, the one that was making excuses. Almost like if Tobe gives Ogadinma a very hot slap, Aunty Ngozi will be there to rub Vaseline on her cheek and tell her, don't worry, it's because today he's not in a good mood. Tomorrow when he's in a good mood, he's going to hug you. So it was that bad. This book is a very, very wonderful read, guys. It's just like it says at the back, a modern feministic classic. So there are so many issues that are raised in this book. Ogadinma went through a lot. She went through a lot in this book. It was almost like it was a crime for her to be a woman. It's just like, if you want to offend anybody, just be a woman. She was very, very unfortunate in this book, and it's funny that she could have lost her life, and the only explanation that is going to give is because, okay, her husband was facing a lot of misfortune. So it just did not make any sense. And I remember I was having a conversation with an individual, and I was so emotional about this book, and I was talking about how her husband had beat her when she was pregnant, and the person was asking me, what did she do? I just didn't understand it. So you might look at it like, okay, this is fiction, this is, oh, okay, this is just a work of art. But the thing is that reality actually informs the fiction. So this story, it doesn't exist in isolation. There are so many things that informed the writer before she decided to pen this story down. So these are the real issues that we face. Domestic violence is still on a very high rise, and it's not even funny. Ogadinma could have been more. Okay, yes, what is done is done. The baby had been aborted. She could have just been given another chance to just go to university and further education. Rather, she was just pushed to marry one rubbish man. And this book is very, very emotional. I actually cried. It was like, this writer just got to me. She got to be in my very, very, in the okulu of my heart, like in the very deepest. No, it's I was affected by this book. Religion is brought to the fore. Fake pastors. After leaving her husband's house, the zeal she had to do something for herself, the freedom that she felt. I enjoyed the freedom that she had. And we also look at good friendship. So this friendship that she formed with her former neighbor Ejiro, it was actually helpful for her, because Ejiro's sister had actually been a victim of domestic violence. So Ejiro's sister had actually died. So it was anything domestic violence was very, very important to her. So many women have lost their lives due to this domestic violence, and this book is just kind of like an answer to so many questions. And again, one thing that got to me, that actually made me very emotional while I was reading this book, was the feeling of helplessness that Ogadinma felt. Nobody should be made to feel that helpless. It was very painful. It was very touching. You know what it is for someone to be unable to fight back, just to accept fate, because fate that is being dictated by people that are supposed to care for you, that are supposed to protect you. So it was that bad. Guys, you should read this book. I feel if you read this book, you would understand the point I'm trying to make here. This book actually made me sad, but towards the ending, I could come to terms with what had happened, because even the main character had come to terms with what had happened. So it was just left for her to move on with her life. And another thing is that, you know, what is actually crazy in this Nigerian society is that when you leave your husband's house because of issues of domestic violence, people actually expect you to come back. So the fact that she had gone to her father in the very first place with this complaint, just somewhere to stay, and he had turned her back, go back to your husband. And even her cousin Ifoma, who is also a girl like her, unmarried too, had the guts to even insult her, that okay, calling her names just because she had left her husband, that it was common knowledge that this guy was mistreating her. So the fact that people are unwilling to help in issues that relate to domestic violence. And there's so many things that are happening. Some women are suffering in their marriages and unable to help themselves. This book also looks at women empowerment. So apart from the normal education, like maybe going to university, there are other things that women can do to make money. So we look at skill acquisition, which was what Ogadinma finally did, just to make something useful of our life. And that's just basically it about this book. This book is not a waste of money. This book is very, very interesting. So if you've not read this book, guys, you should read it. I would recommend it anytime, any day. This book is just it. And even the language, the flow of words, I mean, this author just blessed us with this book. It's written in a very simple style, and it's just written for you to understand, for you to enjoy, for you to relax, and for you to know what's happening. And it also looks at life in the 1980s, because in the 1980s in Nigeria, they were not even playing. If you've read this book, please, I'd love to know your thoughts on it. Please do so in the comment section down below. And guys, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and also subscribe to this channel. And I'll be seeing you in my very next video. Thank you for staying to the end. Bye guys.